I'm a man of integrity and truth, and it is not true that I was obstructing anyone. And I don't think I can, in good conscience, yield to this act of authoritarianism when it's based on lies, and I'm not comfortable moving.
Are you not going to comply with that?
No.
No? Okay, all right. So
we're going to head that way then. I'm going to use reasonable force, whether I need it for hands or not. We're going to walk down that way.
On Tuesday, Chris Elton, the Canadian internet sensation and children's safety campaigner widely known on X as Billboard Chris, was in Brisbane CBD engaging in his signature polite conversations with passers-by when he was approached by a council worker who fined him for allegedly obstructing people in an open space.
So how much is my fine going to be?
$806.
$806.
An $806 penalty for doing nothing wrong in an open space. Well done, Brisbane Council.
I'm not going to pay this fine. I will appeal it.
Those familiar with Chris know how courageous, principled and courteous he remains during his street discussions, no matter how hateful some people become. I've personally had the privilege of joining him on Melbourne Street during his last visit.
Older people like you guys, you can't grasp the idea.
Excuse me, I'm quite young.
All right, buddy.
I identify as 19.
See, this is the argument that people keep pulling. It's not about that.
Why
if
is
people
that
want
not
to
a
be
legitimate argument, though? Why can't I identify as a black person, but I can identify as a woman?
What? See, this is what I mean. Why is it harmful that people want to, identify as another gender? How does that harm you?
How does it harm you that I want to identify as 19?
It doesn't harm me.
Okay, so then why don't you accept it?
I didn't say I didn't accept it.
Do you accept that I'm 19?
If you want to say that, it doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't affect me.
So will you take back your statement where you said that I was an old man?
What?
So it came at no surprise that Billboard Chris refused to be intimidated.
But I'm tired of censorious Western governments telling me that I can't have conversations about the greatest child abuse in modern medicine history. And they can do whatever they want to me. They can put me in jail if they want. I don't care. I'm not going to stop. I'm allowed to have these conversations on a public street, and I'm not interfering with anybody, even though this man lied and said I stopped somebody from moving. I've been doing this 4.5 years. All I ever do is stand quietly. He says I'm infringing upon their movements by standing in this giant public square.
Interestingly, most of the people the council worker claimed were having their movement obstructed by Chris appeared to be supportive of his work.
We support you, mate.
Thank you very much.
Awesome, Chris.
Thank you. Thank you. So you're going to send me my fine in the mail?
No, I'm going to hand it to you now.
Oh, awesome.
So,
Brilliant.
it's up there. Options on the back.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
Now, we still need you to cease the activity.
I'm not ceasing the activity.
All right, so you're refusing to?
That's right.
Understood.
What activity? We've been trying to have a conversation. You're actually stopping the conversation.
Thank you, sir. I won't be engaging with you.
The council worker's arrogance was jaw-dropping. He then summoned police for backup and dashed off to grab a notice to slap on Chris, paving the way for cops to issue a formal move-on order.
Okay.
Relevant legislation in which I've issued the ticket. Obstructing or unreasonably disturb any person lawfully using a mall.
Okay, so I've been told that my prohibited activity is that I'm obstructing or unreasonably disturbing any person lawfully using a mall.
Correct.
I have absolutely done no such thing. I was standing quietly.
You should get a fucking job and, move on with your life,
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Example of
I
things
have
that
not
obstruct
done this.
users of the mall. This is because you're in this area.
So this guy that just came up to harass me, he's using that as an example of me obstructing people.
The next step from here
Yeah.
is that we can issue an oral compliance direction, which under our local laws means that you have to cease the activity and possibly move on from the area. All right?
I'm not obstructing or unreasonably disturbing anyone.
All right. So once I move on with the oral compliance direction, this is what it looks like. All right. I'm going to step through it because it's the first time for me as well.
First time?
Yeah.
Really?
Very new.
No one's ever had a sign on this public street before, I guess.
They have actually, but...
And how come you didn't interrupt them? How come you didn't... Oh, really? Yeah.
You catch that? He says he's never fined or ordered police to move anyone on because they never go this far. But with a 2-minute search, you can find footage of a Palestinian protest at the exact same spot in Queen Street Mall where no fines or move-on orders were issued, despite protesters actually committing the so-called obstruction offence Chris was wrongfully accused of.
I'm not disturbing anyone. I stand quietly, having conversations with people who approach me. And so I don't believe I'm in violation of that.
You are obstructing people, okay? So at this...
How am I obstructing people?
It's been explained to you, okay?
Oh, that was a lie, but
do you want to grab your things and leave?
No, I'm not leaving.
Okay.
So we now have the power
to arrest you.
Okay.
Chris, believing he's about to be arrested, paused to post on X to his hundreds of thousands of followers announcing that he was being arrested for holding conversations in Brisbane. The post sparked an online firestorm with its reach extending as far as Elon Musk himself. However, instead of arresting him, the cops persisted in debating their nonsensical stance against a principled man confident in his legal standing.
Like, I know that you've got your cause and you want to make a scene and you want to...
No, I don't want to make a scene. Which is why I stood out of the way over by that pole.
An area which has these...
It's a public street.
This is a mall area that has its own bylaws that everybody has to comply with. Okay?
Yeah.
Everyone except Hamas supporters?
The claim here is that I've been obstructing people.
We've had multiple people come up and complain to us about your sign. Okay?
Well, that's not what the legislation is about.
I understand.
It's not about complaining about a sign.
But
it's about obstructing people.
To you why you've been given that.
The double standard is glaring. You're free to block the entire mall waving flags and signs in support of Hamas, a terrorist group, but dare to stand in defense of children and you'll face fines and arrest.
So it's only because of this message that I'm being arrested here.
Because how do you know?
Because all sorts of people have been here with signs and he's never had to deal with this.
Against that sign, you have no idea. He's doing his job, we're doing our job. It's got nothing to do with what you're doing.
In true Billboard Chris fashion, the Canadian stood his ground and refused to comply with what seems to be an unlawful direction.
Elston, I'm providing you with a move-on direction due to your behaviour causing an obstruction to people and interfering with people's business in their area and members of the public wanting to peacefully pass through here. Okay, so I now require you to immediately leave the area, well, I now direct you to immediately leave the area for a period of, say, about 6 hours from now, by which time most of the businesses around here are closed and your conduct is unlikely to cause an obstruction as far as police are concerned, as far as moving you on. Okay? There's your ID back.
And so what happens if I don't move? I go to jail?
So if you fail to comply with that move on direction, you may be arrested for contravening that direction.
After about 45 minutes of threatening to arrest him, Queensland Police forcibly removed Billboard Chris from the public space and released him without charge. They later provided the following statement to Rebel News. Police were called just before 1 p.m. to reports of a disturbance at the Queen Street Mall in Brisbane. A 49-year-old man was issued a move-on direction and no further police action was taken. No further information is available. Brisbane Council and Queensland Police, I hope you're embarrassed. Your actions are a blatant international disgrace, and I know Chris, and I know he'll fight you with everything he's got and will damn well ensure it's all exposed, just as we'll cover his precedent-setting court battle for free speech against Australia's e-safety commissioner in Melbourne just next week. Want the world to know what happened to Chris in Brisbane this week? Then hit like, drop a comment, but most importantly, share this far and wide. And if you're eyeing off my t-shirt, I know you are, then head straight to rebelstore.com.au, grab yours from our killer new merch lineup that's growing fast. Look sharp, stand for something, just like Chris. And as a bonus, you'll get to support your favourite news crew all in one. Go to rebelstore.com.au. Do it now. You know you want it.